Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you're all in the best of your health. According to our today's lesson planner, we have lesson number 2, that is, does he remember? So we have already taken the story before. Let me give you a quick summarization of this story. So let's begin with our summarization, and then we will continue with our question answers. So the story, Does He Remember, is actually the story of a person whose name was Mike, who was an old friend of a person whose name was Nabil. So Mike all the way came to meet his old friend after a long time, and as he reached his home, he saw a huge sign that was "Beware of dogs" on the door. And meanwhile, while standing outside, he heard some of the dogs barking from inside. That made him think twice about the sign. At last an old man came out from the side of the door, and he opened the door for him and let him inside. But the door was too old, so it took a lot of time to move. After that, Mike followed the old man till he reached a big dark living room, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon when he saw someone sitting on the couch, and he recognized that it was his old friend whose name was Nabil. So what he did, he simply stepped in when he asked Nabil, and then he immediately saw an old dog whose name was Marmaduke sitting right beside Nabil. He remembered at once that it was the same old dog whom he used to tease, whom he used to worry while he was just a puppy. So now Nabil asked Mike to come in, but Mike was so worried that if the dog might remember him or not. He simply asked Nabil whether the dog was on the leash or not. Nabil said no, it wasn't, but he was sure that he won't hurt him. The dog was all the way sleeping. As Mike entered into the room, Marmaduke just woke up, and he recognized Mike as the same old person who used to worry him, who used to tease him while he was just a puppy. So he jumped over and tried to attack, but Nabil acted just in time. The dog tried to attack Mike, but Nabil tried to hold the dog, but the dog was much stronger and much bigger than he thought. So in the end, he started barking. The dog started barking and started running after Mike, and all the way Mike, in fear, ran away, and he leaped up and over the gate and tried to run away as soon as possible. And in the end, he simply wiped off his sweat and waved his friend, and they never saw each other again. So this was our quick summarization of today's story, Does He Remember? So moving towards our questions now. So our question number 2 is, answer the following questions with reference to the context. One of the text from the story has been given in part A and one has been given in part B. Let's see what we have. The first one, it is, can you be sure? Asked Mike. The first questions related to this reference is, to whom does Mike address this question? To whom did Mike ask the question from? And the answer is that he addresses this question to Nabil. He was asking this question about the dog from Nabil. Second question related to the same text is, what is Mike trying to make sure of? While he was coming in the room, what was the thing that he was trying to make sure of? So he tries to make sure whether Marmaduke remembers him or not. Obviously, when he tried to come in the room, he looked at the Marmaduke and he was worried whether Marmaduke remembered him or not. Third part is, does the answer satisfy him? Does the answer from Nabil satisfy Mike or not? And the answer is that no, it doesn't. As Nabil said that his dog was not on the leash, so this was the thing that keeps on bothering Mike. Now our second text from the story is, Nabil acted just in time. So the first question is, what made Nabil act in time? What just happened that made Nabil to act in time? And the answer is that Marmaduke's attack on Mike made him act in time. When Marmaduke started attacking Mike, so Nabil just stood up and he tried to control his dog. Second question related to the same text is, what did he do after that? So what he did, he immediately threw himself on the dog in order to control him or in order to stop him. And the last part is, was his action satisfactory? Whatever he did in the end, was that enough to control the situation or not? So the answer is that no, it was not, or you can simply say not really, because the dog was much stronger than he thought. So this was our today's lesson. I hope you understood everything. Thanks for listening.